It all started with a late-night scroll. You know the kind. Deep into the weird corners of classifieds. I was looking for a project, something cheap, something with a story. And then I saw it. One terrible listing. One blurry photo. 91 Nissan 240X. Ran when parked. $500. Most would run, fast. But my heart started pounding. A real S13 chassis. The legendary two-door coupe. Not the hatchback. The one people dream about. JDM dreams are made of this. I had to see it. Next morning, I drove to a farm in the middle of nowhere. Behind a rusty barn sat my prize. And wow, it was rough. Covered in a decade of dirt, moss in the seams, 4 flat tires, melted into the ground. The paint was chalky pink, one fender a different color, clearly from an old accident. It looked hopeless. The owner, a grizzled farmer, said, "Been sitting there since my kid went to college." He handed me the key. I handed $500. He counted slowly, handed a handwritten bill of sale. No turning back. We winched it onto a flatbed and towed it home. Towed away, I watched it in my rear view. My crazy, dirty JDM project had begun. The long road to restoration was ahead. I couldn't wait to start. Once the 240SX was safely in my garage, the real work started. The first step was the scariest, the teardown. I had to see what horrors were lurking beneath the surface. I started with the interior. Opening the door released a smell I can only describe as wet farm animal. Seats torn to shreds, foam spilling out like yellow guts. The dashboard was cracked from sun damage. A family of mice had turned the carpet into their personal penthouse. It was disgusting. I suited up with gloves and a mask and ripped everything out until only bare metal remained. I ripped everything out until only the bare metal floor remained. Next, the engine bay. The legendary KA24DE was there, but it was a mess. Every hose was brittle, wires chewed through, battery terminals corroded. I spent a weekend disconnecting everything, labeling wires with masking tape, carefully removing components. With every bolt I loosened, I found more rust. It felt like peeling an onion, and sometimes I wanted to cry. I held my breath as it went up, praying the rust wasn't as bad as I feared. Thankfully, the frame rails were solid. That was a huge relief, but floor pans had nasty rust holes. The fuel tank was rusted through. The entire exhaust had disintegrated. Every suspension bushing was dry rotted. This was a full-blown nut and bolt restoration. My garage looked like a disaster zone. Parts everywhere. Friends stopped by and shook their heads. But then I'd look at the S13's classic lines and remember the vision. Potential, not junk. With the car stripped to its soul, it was time for the fun part. Making things new again. I spent days on my back with a wire wheel, grinding away every last speck of corrosion. I welded in new metal patches and ground the seams smooth until you couldn't tell there was ever a hole. Then I coated the underside with thick rust-proof paint. It was dirty, invisible work, but essential. While the bodywork happened, I rebuilt the engine. I took the KA24DE completely apart. Every part cleaned, inspected, and measured with calipers. I replaced pistons, bearings, all seals and gaskets. Piece by piece it came back together. I wanted it to be reliable. I added a new intake and a full stainless exhaust, small upgrades with big results. From greasy lump to pristine power plant, bolting on freshly painted parts felt like therapy. The heart of the beast was ready to beat again. For paint I chose something bold. Midnight purple, a legendary JDM color. Seeing the car come back from the paint shop was jaw-dropping. No longer a faded pink junker, a shimmering purple that shifted from dark violet to bright magenta in the sun. It was perfect. I reassembled the car, crystal clear headlights, kooky taillights, and a clean, subtle body kit to enhance the lines. I sourced a crack-free dashboard, fitted supportive racing seats, and laid new black carpet. A tasteful retro-modern interior, clean, simple, and true to its 90s roots. Every new part made it feel alive again. The day finally came to start the car for the first time. I was a nervous wreck. I hooked up the battery, filled the new tank with fresh gas, and checked every fluid. I turned the key. The starter cranked. It cranked again. Then, with a loud roar, it fired to life. The rebuilt engine echoed through the new exhaust. It idled perfectly. I let out a huge sigh. All those late nights, busted knuckles, moments of doubt had paid off. The car was alive. A running driving machine. My $500 junker had become real. After months of hard work, the project was complete. I polished it one last time. I rolled it onto the show field, heart pounding next to expensive machines. People walked past six-figure supercars to come look at my 240 SX. The reaction was incredible.
I put out a small sign with the before photo. People's jaws dropped. "You built this from that?" someone asked.
I popped the hood to show the clean engine. People inspected the paint and asked how I got it so perfect. I spent the day talking to people. Seeing the genuine appreciation was the ultimate reward. Looking back, I learned more than how to fix a car: patience and perseverance. That $500 gamble became the most rewarding experience of my life. Every time I drive now, I see every late night, every challenge I overcame, every small victory. The car isn't just a car, it's part of my story. With passion and hard work, you can turn junk into treasure.